I'm a little bit, I'm not as impressed with this as the previous version. Biggest reason that the previous version was just all right, so let's jump right into this and discuss a very, very important topic, which shows these brand new Halloween costumes. This does give us some encouragement of stuff that's coming up. So as you guys have seen, we've got the seasonal summons. We have 4 new costumes. We've got Frank, we've got Francine, we got Vanda, as well as Victor. So diving straight into this, we have this brand new Frank costume, which I like the actual costume itself. It's pretty cool as far as the design of it. It's got kind of a cute little top hat. I do appreciate that. Going through him and discussing him, he is a monk class, which you compare it against the barbarian, definitely a better situation for him. And then obviously the same costume bonus, family bonus. So these costume bonuses are now at 2% attack bonus on defense, 2% health bonus, 4%, 1%. So just know that these event heroes are going to get a little bit different costume bonus. 655 attack, 645 defense, and 1334. 170% damage to all enemies. It is increased by 45% per each dead enemy. So this can deal a substantial amount of damage. With over 2,000 matches played, I can confidently say that Mech Arena is 4 minutes of the fastest and funnest gameplay that you can experience. No joke, you need to check out Mech Arena because you have a completely unique mech build, no strict time sensitive playing times, amazing graphics. We're talking about 120 FPS on some devices. In just a few seconds, I'm going to show you how easy it is to build your own mech. Starting off with Kill Shot, this is a fan favorite for just about any player. You've got tons of different skins to choose from. Usually you want to build it with weapons that are fast to reload and deal a bunch of damage. I personally use Missile Rack 8 and it slaughters almost any enemy. Some people use Javelin Racks to snipe them from afar, and if you don't kill them with your weapon, you dash in and destroy their life. There are tons of events going on right now, keeping it spooky, adding Halloween based skins, and giving you opportunities to grab an exclusive new weapon, Disc Launcher. I've been destroying all my enemies with this weapon on my shadow, and you're not going to want to miss grabbing this intense weapon. Now's the time to check out the fastest growing free game on a phone, available on Android and iOS. After you download the game, you are welcome to add me as a friend. Maybe we can play some custom matches. My ID is 9494162. Helps me out a ton when you download Mech Arena, and a big reason why I can keep all my content free. By checking out Mech Arena, you're also going to get some amazing beginner rewards to get you started. You'll receive 1 desert digital skin, 200 A coins, and 10,000 credits. All you have to do is click on the link in the description or scan my nifty QR code. Make sure you add me as a friend and we can play some games together. Thanks again, Mech Arena, for sponsoring this video. Let me dive right back in for you guys. So this can deal a substantial amount of damage. He is still rolling it slow, obviously, but if you figure there's 1 dead enemy, that's going up to 100 or 215, which is a sizable amount. I'm a little bit, I'm not as impressed with this as the previous version. Biggest reason that the previous version was just insane was giving the all enemies 44% defense for 4 turns. So that was the big appeal and draw to be using the Frank costume version, especially with him being slow, especially being in the 4-star. So if you get the costume, obviously does also have the stack, all enemies receiving the frost damage, and then all enemies receiving the 4% mana generation per killed dead enemy. But he's mostly just going to be strictly dealing damage at slow. I'm not too stoked on this. If you have the choice between using the regular version or the costume version, obviously you can level up the costume to get the additional costume bonuses. But in pretty much all phases of the game, you're going to want to use the regular version. It just gives you the flat 200% damage, and then also just getting the 44% defense for 4 turns. I don't know why they made this or thought that it was a great idea. Not too stoked on the actual costume version. Use the regular version. Getting into Francine, I really like what they've done with this Francine costume. As you can see, the big drawback is going to be the fact that the regular version's a rogue, and this one's now sorcerer, which isn't that great. Again, same family bonus. Her attack power is at 801, not a crazy amount of difference in terms of the stats. 801, 795, 757, 763. So a little bit more attack, but stats wise, the costume version has less defense and less health. So stats wise, I prefer the regular version. But getting into her abilities, which is pretty cool. 225 damage to the target and nearby enemies. Same thing, same amount of damage. She's going to cleanse all status ailments from all allies at the end of each turn for 3 turns. We're used to that there. And then the situation is all ice enemies are going to get the minus 54% defense against nature for 3 turns, whereas deals extra damage. So obviously you can see the costume version is going to be substantially better, setting it up so all ice enemies are going to get the elemental defensive down. I don't know how much of a factor that's going to be on offense, depending on how it goes. But I could see that this being a pretty sweet situation to where if you're using a red tank, they're most likely going to be in a situation to where they're bringing ice element, and then you can set them up to get the minus 54% defense against nature for 3 turns. The big draw to be using Francine is setting yourself up to cleanse every turn for 3 turns, and it can't be dispelled. So if you're kind of debating between the two, I don't know if it's crazy to want to go out and spend a whole bunch to get the costume version if you have the regular version, because you're just going to have the situation of the elemental defensive down, which does help out. It's not bad, but I do say that it's a little bit better of a situation. So pretty cool there. Next one is getting into the brand new Vanda. As you can see, she's a wizard class versus the old version sorcerer class. I don't know if that makes a big difference between the two. It's not really a situation that I'm that concerned about. Attack power is slightly decreased. But she does have more defense and more health. So again, you're kind of doing the reverse as far as what happened with Francine. So that helps out. I do like, I've always liked Vanda in general, just the idea of dealing damage to all enemies at very fast, and then also setting herself up to be immune to new status ailments. So the biggest difference here is she's now dealing 115 versus 125, and then the regular version 61% of the healing versus 51%. But the biggest thing is being able to be immune for 3 turns. So I don't know if you guys realize this, but being immune for 3 turns at very fast is definitely an issue. So I really like the costume version of Vanda here. The immunity for 3 turns at very fast. We all know how annoying it is for Garnet to go off essentially at very fast, and that's for 2 turns. So with Vanda herself at 3 turns very fast, definitely going to be relevant. That's definitely the most annoying thing. You'll go ahead and you'll trade out the whole dealing damage, but I do like Vanda. You've got a lot of situations to where having the immunity is going to be relevant. Namely, really important would be like the Alfreik situation that we have going on, or Alfreaky as I call it. So I do love that it's for 3 turns. 3 turns is a pretty long time. So I'm really liking that quite a bit. So pretty cool there. I don't know if it changes the design too much. I'm definitely going to go ahead and sacrifice a little bit of damage and a little bit of healing to be able to set myself up for 3 turns instead of 2 turns. Last and most importantly, this is Victor. I'm really encouraged with what they did with this character. Compared to the old version, obviously it's a wizard class. New one is rogue. You get the costume bonus like we discussed. We're going to sacrifice a little bit on the attack. This one has 785, 793 here, but the defense is going to go up between the two, and the health total is going to go down a little bit. So stats wise, they kept them pretty similar. As far as the ability, again, we're still very fast. Deals 125% damage to the target and nearby enemies. That's the biggest upgrade, because obviously this one was only 211 to the target. So then it also sets it up so the target nearby enemies receive the 225 over 5 turns. If the target has this effect, the duration will be refreshed and the damage will be increased by 305 up to 830 damage in total. So very fast, you could be essentially dealing 830% damage. For him to go off a couple of times is not end of the world. I could see it happening. Maybe not in the later levels. You could potentially kill him, but it would be really, really annoying, especially with him now being rogue. And then, so the other one was, again, it was a situation to where it was just the target on the regular version. The caster steals 51% of the healing, so that changed a little bit there, 61. And then all allies are getting 30% defense on the old version, whereas this one is going to get the target nearby enemies get minus 24% defense for 3 turns. So it's also going to be a defensive down at very fast, and it is the target and nearby enemies. So what they did with Victor is they finally made him playable. He was pretty awful in the regular version. I really had high expectations for him when he first came out. I mean, that was forever ago. And I was pretty excited. It just never materialized. So I think that they've definitely done enough to Victor to where they don't make him completely broken. I do like that he gives the defensive down for 3 turns. He's also just dealing damage. And then he's also stealing life. And that's pretty relevant because it is to 3 different enemies. So we haven't seen the Victor costumes come in quite a bit. I mean, we already have some very strong purple heroes, but I really like what this character does. Now, to answer your question in terms of the Halloween summons, are they worth it? Is it something you should do? That's totally your call. I mean, I'm impressed from myself personally. I'm impressed with what they've done with these costumes. Is it enough for me to go wild on? No. I did do a couple of summons. I think I probably did like 10 or 20 different summons on the Halloween event. I didn't get any of the new costumes besides Frank. So for me, it wasn't end of the world. I don't know as to if it's an event that you would have to make, because these are mostly going to be like offensive kind of situational type heroes. I think that there's the most potential for Victor, but ultimately not an event that I'm crazily overwhelmingly excited for, but I do like the improvements absolutely on what they did with Victor. So do me a favor, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of these new costume versions? Is it worth it? Did you guys get any? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear all the awesome things as far as if you did get them yourself. I think that that's really cool. So let me know in the comments. I really appreciate all the support. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.